Hey guys, Chris here from Carolette Miniature Horses. Want to say welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm going to kind of take you around the farm today, show you a little bit about our morning routine. There you can see our 3 minis in the back. Our 3 minis we adopted on Halloween, so October 31st, 2024. They've been here on the farm with us for about 4 months now. It's early March and everyone has settled in super well, really happy. They're easygoing and they've just been a lot of fun. We haven't done a whole lot of training with them yet. That's really coming this spring and we're excited about that. I've got a student who is interested in taking one of the minis to the State 4-H Horse Show. So again, just a lot of really exciting stuff coming up this year that we're going to want to share with you, because the whole reason I am here out in the breeze shooting this is I want to share with you our experience as miniature horse owners. And I am a longtime equestrian. I grew up riding. My daughters grew up riding. We bought this farm here in 2011. But this is my first, or our first, experience as miniature horse owners. And as full-size horse owners and having ponies and such in the past as well, I'm just very aware that minis do have different dietary needs and as well as other healthcare needs sometimes. And so we want to be the most mindful horse owners possible. And we know that there's a bit of a learning curve. Again, we know a lot about caring for horses. We've kept anywhere from 2 to 4 to 6 horses on this property ourselves before, but never minis. So we want to document this first year, kind of follow us as we journey through the year. We have a lot to learn, a lot to share, and we're just going to have so much fun, I know. So again, thank you for joining us, and check us out as we kind of journey through the year and continue to have a lot of wonderful opportunities and experiences. So, all right, thanks again. I'm going to get to work caring for the ponies. So it's time to start the day. We're going to be feeding the mare, Sweetheart. She gets about 1.5 pounds of Triple Crown Senior right now. We're trying to put a little bit of weight on her still. She's doing better, but we're still feeding her the 1.5 pounds. We're going to reevaluate in a few more weeks and kind of see where she is, and then make modifications if need be. So we've got her feed here. We keep it in an airtight bin because being a mini, she doesn't eat very much, and 1 bag of grain lasts a long time. As you can see, I'm going to need to run out and get another bag today though. So perfect. All right, well, next step is moistening her feed. So here we have her feed. I'm going to add just a little bit of water to it to give it a slight moisten. The Triple Crown Senior has a lot of beet pulp in it, and so I just want to make sure that that has a chance to kind of fluff up and rehydrate so that she doesn't have any issues choking or swallowing. She's a slightly older horse. We think she's 12 to 15, and I'm not entirely sure how great her teeth are. I've not had the dentist out just yet. So just as a precaution, we are moistening her feed, and then the next step for Sweetheart is to give her 3 allergy pills, and I will show you about that. Shortly after we started giving Sweetheart her medicine, we bought this pill crusher, and it has been a game changer. Does a really fantastic job and makes it much easier. Let's see where she is. Come on. So I feed her over here in one of our 2 feedlots. She's happiest here. She doesn't love the stalls. They still are the full-size doors, which she can't see out of. So I feed her here in the feedlot, and I have a little trailer tie here that I like to attach her bucket to. It keeps her from pawing and knocking it over. So I'm going to hook this up. I'm going to turn the electric fence off, which you might hear kind of popping here close by. So she'll be popping around the corner any minute. Hey, sweet girl, it's time for breakfast. Come on. You're such a pretty girl. All right, I'll meet you at the gate. So this here is Sweetheart. You might see she's very dirty. We had a huge rain yesterday. Our turnout here had standing water in it, letting it rest and recover a little. So the horses definitely need a really good grooming today. But here is our little Sweetheart, and she is definitely ready. I'm gonna follow her to the gate, and then she will get to start eating her breakfast. Probably takes her about 20 minutes. So usually once she starts to eat, I start picking the paddock. Here we have our two other minis approaching us now. This is Shenanigans. He's a little gelding. We think he's probably around 4. Oh, don't be a grumpy boy. And then we have Rockstar over here that we think is probably a little older, maybe approaching 5. They're both pretty young. They're best buddies. So yeah, these guys are ready for a little bit of morning hay. Alrighty, let me get to that. Hey guys, just enjoying breakfast. Two best buddies. So now that everyone is eating, they've had their breakfast, it's time for me to start picking the paddock and the barnyard. Because we have our minis on fairly small turnouts, I do want to make sure that they're well picked so they don't get too gross and just kind of overrun with manure. So that's part of my morning routine while Sweetheart here finishes eating and the boys are happy munching out in the field. I'm going to grab a pitchfork and my wheelbarrow and I'm going to set to work. So I've only kind of just begun picking. I have finished up the barnyard that had a few piles in it. I still need to pick the stalls. But I see that Sweetheart is finished eating and patiently waiting. So I want to let her out, hey sweet girl, so that she can go and join the boys, have a little bit of morning hay. She will get a good grooming along with the boys later today. It should be a really nice day. So she looks a little rough right now, but we'll get everyone groomed up shortly. Alrighty, back to picking, and she is for sure the boss mare. So here I've picked the stall. I put all that leftover kind of semi stuff in the back corner. Sometimes we use that, like I said, to cover ice, or if there's a really mucky spot, we'll use it for bedding every now and then if we need to. But I just keep a real small, thin layer spread, and that way if they go to the bathroom, it's a little absorbent. But we use our stalls primarily as run-ins. We keep the doors open so the horses can come and go as they please. In inclement weather, we do put hay, usually in the front corners of their stalls, and that's been working really well. So yeah, I mean, it's nothing fancy. I don't pick it super clean, but it's perfectly functional and it's ready for them to come in and use it. So we've got 2 stalls here that are attached side by side. So I'm still at it. I'm still in the back field here picking the manure, but you can see the 3 minis in the background are eating on 3 piles. I took the 2 flakes of hay and I typically split it into at least 3 piles, and that way if they want to share they can, great. If not, everyone can have their own pile. I try to spread them apart so no one gets kicked. They're good friends, but every now and then, you know, all horses are equipped to bite and kick, so we do try to give them a little more space so it's not an issue. So yeah, they're happy eating and I'm back to picking. Where's that wheelbarrow? There it is. Bruce is a little funny. He's not usually the cat to come and hang out with me and visit with the ponies. Usually that's Frankie. He's our black and white cat. He's currently snoozing inside the house, but yeah, Bruce just can't seem to get enough attention today. He's my helper. Hey, buddy. So here I am. I'm out in the front kind of paddock, we call it, or the grass ring. I'm picking here. We're just in front of the barn. The horses have access to this little area as well as the back where you saw them eating their hay. As you can see, there's a little bit of spring grass beginning to pop up, but the minis by and large keep it eaten down really, really short. I do want to keep a close eye on them though this spring, because with spring grass comes more sugar content, and we want to just make sure that they don't start to get sensitive feet or show any signs of, laminitis. The last thing we would want would be for a pony to founder. So here I am just picking the front paddock, or the front ring we call it sometimes, and I just want to show you that little bit of spring grass that you can just see beginning to pop up. Hey guys, so I wanted to give you a little more of an update on Sweetheart. This morning when I was preparing her morning grain, you saw that I went ahead and I crushed up 3 allergy pills for her and sprinkled that on top of her moistened food. She gets those 3 pills every day, and we've been doing that really ever since, I'm gonna say, the middle of November. Again, I adopted the 3 minis, Sweetheart included, on Halloween, so October 31st of 2024. And the day after I brought them home, she started to exhibit some signs of a respiratory infection. She had a snotty nose, she had crusty eyes, labored breathing. And so I contacted the vet, and we started her on SMZs, monitored her temperature, and the vet then came out a day or so later, and we decided to go ahead and start her on antibiotics. And so after 2 rounds of antibiotics, things seemed to clear up pretty well. Although she still had a lingering cough, she still had a little bit of like a snotty discharge in her nose from time to time. It wasn't constant, but every other day or so I'd see a little bit of discharge that I was a little concerned about still. And she still had that little cough. And we were still noticing a touch of labored breathing. So I followed back up with the vet, and because she had finished up the antibiotics and was improving, she was not running a fever any longer, the vet felt that it was mostly just the respiratory infection clearing itself out of her system, but that if the labored breathing continued, and when I say labored, she's not huffing and puffing. I'm not concerned about her, but there is a little more of a noticeable breath when she is breathing. You can see that breathing in her rib cage a little more prominently than you do just most horses at rest. So nothing crazy alarming. However, it was noticeable. And so once she finished up the antibiotics, we figured that the next step would be to start her on an allergy medicine. The vet was thinking that what we were probably experiencing was one of 2 things. Either she has a mild case of heaves, but the vet was also thinking that it could also just be that she is experiencing environmental allergies or seasonal allergies. And so the allergy pills were a really easy first start. They're fairly inexpensive, and similar to how people take Zyrtec every day, she is just on a daily allergy medicine. And we have been doing that all winter long, and we are continuing it into the spring. And we are going to be closely monitoring her to see, does she begin to have any sort of a flare-up, and if so, that could be indicative of this environmental or seasonal allergy that she could potentially be experiencing. And if that is in fact the case, the vet would recommend that we would then go from 1 dose of allergy meds to 2 doses a day. So from 3 pills to 6 pills. So we're gonna have to kind of watch her and see if that's something that we think we need to do. At this point in time, I haven't seen any sort of increase. She has a mild cough, a little coughing spell, maybe once a day I hear her. She coughs a couple times, then she clears it.
and then she seems to be fine. I'm not seeing any more goopy eyes or, nasal discharge, which is a really good sign. She's bright, she has a good appetite. So I think all in all, she's feeling pretty good. But we do still have a little something that's lingering or underlying. And when the vet comes back out here in a few weeks to do spring shots, we will sort of circle back and see, do we think what we're experiencing is largely due to allergies, or could it be heaves? And if it is heaves, I have personally never owned a heavey horse. What are some other things that we could be doing to help support her? One thing I know I don't want to do, should she have heaves, is feed her round bales. I don't want her to have her head stuffed in a round bale. It's so easy in the winter to put rounds out for the horses to eat on. But I knew that with the minis, it would, one, take them a long time to really eat around, and we'd have a lot wasted likely. But two, the biggest reason we stayed away from rounds this winter was with Sweetheart and her potential heaves or allergy issues. So we've just been feeding squares. We kind of shake them out as best we can to kind of cut down the dust. Something I've not done, I've not been moistening her hay. The vet had mentioned that could maybe be something that could help if it is in fact heaves, but I hate to say it, but horses don't usually like to eat their wet hay. So I am hopefully not going to have to do that for her, because I know that she prefers her dry hay when possible. So stay tuned. I'll keep you updated as we head into the spring. We're going to keep watching her closely. And like I said, we're going to check in with our vet here in a few weeks' time and see if she has any more recommendations for how we can best support this wonderful, wonderful mare. I'm so happy we have her. I would never have wanted to have sent her back because of this. But it is something that we are, it's kind of an ongoing issue that we are going to have to just continue to monitor and do our best to do right by her. So we're letting her take the lead, and we're working closely with our veterinarian, and we'll keep you posted. So I'm now off to town to get a bag of grain. As you saw earlier, I am just about out. So I'm gonna do that now. Thanks for joining us, and I will talk to you soon, okay? Have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.